Fáilte ar Nashcagan Ganail. Welcome back to the channel. So what I noticed after bringing it on that long drive to the agricultural show is there's a bit of an oil leak off this timing cover, inspection cover here. So I'm just going to take out the 6 half-inch UNC coarse thread bolts, and I'm going to pull this cover off and make a new gasket first after I clean it up and put it back together with a bit of Indian head. So these little drives, you know, they're a good kind of a chance just to test little things, and I know I had that off doing a bit of spill timing on this, and I'd say literally I was probably too lazy to go make a new gasket, or I didn't put enough Indian head on. So let's get this set up. I have my work lamp here. I'll try and turn it on in a place that doesn't actually, you know, get in the way of the camera or cause too much brightness and all of that. So we'll set up our camera somewhere that will get in there nice and close, and we'll get that whipped off and we'll see what shape it's in. Work light on, hopefully not causing, no, it looks okay in the camera screen there. So we'll put on our half-inch. I'm going to go with a 1/4 inch drive, be nice and handy. We'll whip out these and we'll see what sort of an issue, see what sort of condition things are in. So I'll come back there when I have a few of them out and we're ready to tap it off. So I should have another Ferguson 20 diesel on the way for a bit of work, and if I do get it, I should be getting it soon, the next day or two. I'll create a separate playlist for that lad, and the owner wants me just to go through the basic kind of timing and stuff. He says it's hard to start and all of that. The brakes aren't great, the steering's a bit wobbly, and there's a bit of play here and there and a bit of wear. So we'll go through the whole lot and we'll fit whatever needs to be fitted, and I'll try and record every bit of it, so it'll be another reference for people. I might have to do the same thing. I did very little on this tractor recording wise, considering I did the most work on it that I've done on any tractor in my life over the past 5 years. I just never thought that I'd be one of those people on YouTube that would be putting up videos that, the kind of videos that I enjoy watching myself. So that's why I said I'd give it a go. And I know the production quality isn't great. One thing I do mention in the videos every now and again is that it's worth going into your settings when you're watching a video. So if you tap the screen, if you're watching on a phone, you'll see a gear symbol. If you go in there, you can select to play videos in the best quality. And that's what I do, because I find my videos, or any videos I'm watching, if I don't make that selection, it kind of only plays it in a low quality kind of a picture, and you're not getting the best sort of picture quality and all of that. So you can see that I was definitely leaking down here, so that's no bother at all. That's why we removed it. And I just want to see here, looks like I only put gasket go on that. I was lazy, so we don't like that. I must have been just doing a quick job for whatever reason. So we will make a nice gasket for this. One thing you might notice there is I put on copper washers on these, and well, the reason being, on these bolts and on the bolts, we'll say on that little, what would you call it, tappet cover, I've often seen oil come through them, so I always go and just put on copper washers. The coarse thread allows oil through it, and then if you only have a spring washer has a little gap in it, and the oil can come out the little gap, and that's why it's always good doing that before you put on your diesel pump. That's just a little tip that I have, and I learned the hard way. So let's get this over to the bench and let's get it cleaned down. I think the best thing for that now is my sanding block. This is an old kind of something that was in the house that wasn't being used, so I said I would recommission it. without the wife knowing. So what I might actually do is hit that with the wire brush and the drill first, just to get that bit of gasket go off, and then what we'll do is we'll make our gasket, and we'll put Indian head both sides of it, so if you take it off again, it'll come off in one piece without ripping the gasket, and I think that's going to be the best way about it. So bring it over the stand, get that cleaned up, and we'll take it from there. Don't really know about putting this in a vise because of that edge. Hardly stay still, but still enough for me to. Your answer anyway. So look, that's after cleaned up lovely. Probably no big need to be given much of a sand if we're going to put a nice thick gasket paper on it, but when you do give it a sand, you can see there around the bolt holes that the bolts have kind of pulled this metal out a bit proud. So so we'll go and get our gasket paper, and we'll start getting this cut. Shouldn't be too hard. No mad oil pressure there at all, I'd say. So is that big enough? There you go. That's how you use up a bit of scrap wood. Or is this? That's even better. Yeah, I think we'll use that. I forget what this is off. Oh, I know what's off. It's off ETO selector lever for the 35X that I was working on, and the gold belly. I did the seal in the gold belly here and on the 35X. So that would have been a bit that I cut out of that paper. So there you go. It was worth keeping it. You a chmod. So we'll go and mark that out with a pen and get our knives. And another thing I like to use is these for punching the holes for the studs if I have a big enough one there. Okay, so I'm trying to think, will I get away with using a spanner? My little small G clamp is broken, and that'd be ideal for holding it, you know. So I think what I might do, I might just get a spanner and tap in around the holes, and that should just help mark it. You can really see there when I push there, the outline of the hole is showing up. So if I keep it still, try and stop it from moving, it should just help outline the holes. Where's the next one? Last hole there. Sometimes the round end of the spanner, even just give it a little turn there, it'll help cut it. Now, I suppose I'm going to have to cut out there as well, because I think those gears kind of stick in there a little bit like that. So let me see what we can do here now. I'm going to try and hold it in the vise. I think that would be the best idea. And I'm going to try and get something that's round, like a cap or something, to go in there, and I'll mark around it. I just want to do this as neat as possible, because there's no straight edge, so to speak, you know, that I can use as a reference. So I'll just try and grip it there without going too crazy, and we'll open up. Let's take out our box of this big actually, I have a spare one of these covers, so I'll go get that. I'll match up a nice washer that'll fit in, and we'll mark around it, and that's going to be the best idea. There's another one. So now we'll be able to match up something here that'll roughly do it. We only need the gasket to come out to around that rim there, so a little bit smaller maybe even. I suppose that would even do it, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think that would do it. Okay. So we'll keep our squeezed there in the holes, and that helps keep everything lined up. The holes marked there. We don't have to be too fussy about this once it looks like it's roughly in the center, because I know the bolt, the nut that's sticking out at the end of the timing gear, say, is a lot smaller than this, so we're giving ourselves plenty of space. So and we'll keep this bit of paper that we cut out as well, as we've seen. Keeping this bit here now has served the purpose. So that's that, and I just cut that out with this little blade here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just take your time, follow the line roughly. These little knife sets are brilliant. It's not always the easiest stuff to get this basket paper. I think the days of people making gaskets on a professional basis, would say, like day-to-day mechanic stuff, is fairly, most people will just use your gasket maker, you know, which is fine. I remember myself and my father and my uncle rebuilt the engine on my 1968 Triumph motorbike, twin cylinder petrol, and we used a bit of gasket maker somewhere anyway, because I knew we were going to have to take off the timing cover a few times to get the timing right, and then the oil pump suck up a load of it, and it stopped returning the oil to the oil tank, and the sump filled up with oil, and ended up getting kind of pushed into the cylinders and stuff. It was a bit scary. So gasket maker is not the greatest thing in the world for that now at all. We got it sorted in the end. Anyway, I think the biggest one of these, I think that's probably the biggest one there. Don't see any bigger. So that looks fairly big. 8, as I say, 8 mil. 8 mil. So we'll slap him on there. Okay, and we'll get a light enough hammer. We don't need anything crazy here now for this. And that's not going to be wide enough. Let's get a bigger set of them. I think If I think there's only this will go on a certain way. Again, not having the little G clamp is a bit of a nuisance. Just want to make sure that's fairly well centered there and that, so keep that a little. Yeah, it's only going to be a matter of trying to keep it centered. That's sort of cutting that there, I think, is it? Yeah, so that's good. So what I'll do is I'll put a bolt through that. If you're doing this and you have a little small G clamp, use it. Mine broke. Just help keep everything steady. Oh yeah, that'll help cut it there. Lovely. Go around it with your knife there, just snig it off there wherever it needs. Lovely. The last one there. Okay, so there we go, that's that. Okay, we'll swap over the bolts there now to the side here. What I'm going to do is, I have an old timing cover there now. I'm going to put this on the timing cover and I'm going to be able to mark around where it needs to be cut. That's what I'll do. There's the old timing cover. That's going to make things easier. A little bit damaged there. Why are we using that old one? We have this one here. I'll try and get you in a bit closer there. Okay. Let's throw it one more. Now, so run them in a little bit just to keep everything steady. Can just help keep it lined up. Okay, I think we should be able to just go and I'm going to mark it, I'm not going to cut it. We can go in a little bit behind it there. As you can see, there's nothing supporting it there anyway. So, it'll be a bit messy because it's flapping around a bit there. I don't mind if I end up seeing a bit of the gasket anyway, like you're going to have to be really going out your way to see it anyway. Especially if it seals, I don't care. So we'll take that off again. Probably be a bit messy, but there'll be plenty of meat on it there now anyway. Spare timing cover there for the TVO petrol engine as well. And you'd be surprised the amount of times I've actually had to use it to show people things or to explain things to people or whatever, or even from my own little bit of references, like exactly what we're doing here. A little bit hard to get in this far on the actual tractor there. Alright, so how did that turn out? So I suppose that's clear enough. We get the scissors, we'll speed things up nicely there. Okay, I'll just give it a cut. Okay, don't be too fussy, there's plenty of meat there, it's plenty wide enough considering there's no oil pressure at all. It's only going to be oil splashing against this cover, so it's all going to be hidden there as well. So okay, lovely. So that's that. So I'm going to go now and clean up. I'm going to clean up the time cover on the tractor. I'm going to spare you the boredom of that, but that is the nut there that I was talking about. So it's a lot narrower than the hole we've cut in around our gasket. So I'm just going to clean off that. There's actually very little cleaning off. The gasket glue didn't stick to it at all really. So a bit of Scotch-Brite I think will sort that. So I'll go and get that, and I might even show you me doing it. Why not? If it's going to be that easy to clean and it shouldn't bore the life out of you for too long, I'll get the Scotch-Brite and a bit of degreaser wipe. Actually I think would be the ideal for that, because the degreaser wipe has a bit of kind of grit in it. Let's clean that up lovely. I probably had these in the video before. They're a bucket of degreaser wipes and they're excellent. They're double sided, so you need very little, to be honest with you. You need a full sheet of it. Full sheet will do an awful lot, and they just say you get great value out of each sheet. Like it'll do a lot of cover a lot of surface. Just slight little bit of grit in it there as well, for helps cut through. It's kind of a citrusy, kind of a lemony, orangey kind of a smell to it. It looks like this is all that's going to be needed. Whatever happened with that gasket maker, it did not want to stick to this at all, strange enough. It's actually the only place where that gasket maker is on, as I had to take it off, and I didn't have Indian head at the time. Surprised I didn't make a gasket for it. I definitely made a gasket for this before. I think that was before the engine was overhauled. So that's coming up lovely there. I don't think there's any that gasket maker on it there. That looks good to me. That's a nice thick gasket paper as well, so it's not going to be too fussy. So just give in there a little bit of wipe as well, just to keep any oil coming out on it before it gets a chance to, the Indian head gets a chance to go off and then go a little bit stickier. So that's good. We'll give that nut a feel there, make sure it's good and tight. They're important. Okay, so now the next part here is going to be our Indian head. So I'm going to put some of this and then I'll put some on the gasket then. This will just wipe away then. Whatever squeezes out around it. As I said in the videos before, it doesn't. You can use it on your cooling system, on your fuel system, and anything to keep oil in. Doesn't seem to cause any bother at all to any of it. It can be hard stuff to get. Some people call it well seal. Other people call it Indian head. Maybe it was used on the 100 heads of Indian motorbikes, maybe back in the day. I don't know. Okay, don't have to be too fussy at all. Plenty down the bottom anyway, because that's where they do like to leak, if they are going leaking at all. Okay, so here is the cover. It's in there, upside down nicely. Okay, that's all. Give that some. Still have some of that degreaser white left there, so may as well just give it a quick clean. Give it the best chance of working. Okay. And we can put Indian head on that. And I'll be able to fit the gasket to this. Indian head is not ideal if you get it on your hands. It's hard to get it off. It kind of gets real sticky, treacly. I just cannot work with gloves on. Then latex gloves, cannot do it. I don't know if I was doing this professionally in someone else's business, they'd probably tell me you have to wear the gloves or you're going to get gate, but I find I just can't function with them at all. So we put it on and we can just give it a bit of a line up there, and then we can poke a few bolts through it. And then what I'm actually going to do, since I didn't get a whole lot of Indian head on the other side, is just going to put a little bit more here on this, just a little taste of it. Make taking this apart a lot easier. Just a slight little bit of it there and there. Will kind of squidge itself all around there when you tighten it up anyway. So and there is some already out, so we'll just give it a bit of that. We'll put this bit here now down the bottom. That should be enough, considering it's some on already. Okay, just poke through a bolt or two. I'll get it lined up, so that's one. These have copper washers on them as well. A little bit off there. Oops. Okay. I think we took off 3, I think. Is it? 3. So we'll put them on. And then one side's a bit heavier with the Indian head. So that was the side I said. Jesus, some of this in my hands and I can tell you one thing. It is sticky. Okay, so I'll come back there, just put on the light. Okay. So I've got a bit more of the Indian head on the bottom there, as I was showing a minute ago. So I'll try and keep that down the bottom there. That was lining up holes. Easier said than done. This work light is doing nothing but blinding me. Okay, I think we'll go for a different hole, I think. Somewhere nearer. Somewhere like this one here. I'm doing this at the wrong angle because of that. Tripod's in the way. I can see those. Stick to the hole that's nearest us. So that's that. There's another hole that's fairly near. Oh, the gasket hasn't shifted too far. I don't think it has. Okay. Let's refocus the camera a little bit there. Okay. One down below there, is that lining up? It is. Copper wash is still on, that's good. Okay. The last one's in behind the rad pipe there, the rad hose. Then we'll be able to get our degreaser wiped then and wipe off any of that extra Indian head. Mind you, I don't mind looking at it, to be honest with you. The way I look at it is, once it's staying nice and dry now, I don't mind. The 1/4 inch socket now is the man for the job now. Your 1/2 inch now wouldn't be ideal. You don't have to go nuts on tightening these up now. There's six bolts holding on. The hard work's done there with making the nice gasket, I think, and the Indian head. It's going enough just to get a bit of a squash on the copper washer to stop the oil coming out through the threads, and that should be job ox, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say that's probably job ox. So if we want, we can get a bit of our degreaser wipe. I want to be fussy. I'm only doing this just to show you how good these are, because this stuff is super sticky and this stuff just cuts through it. I think, yeah, like the unreal. I don't really know what else you'd use. Unbelievable stuff, like forgetting that stuff. Oh, and for just doing general clean up of, you know, castings and stuff, you know, top of the bits of fan belt there. I remember one of the earlier videos I was putting on the fan belt and the pulley was too worn and it was sort of slittering. It's fantastic stuff, like for just giving things a bit of a degrease and a clean up. It's, if you want to just use up the last of it there, it's excellent. Yeah, so I think that's probably that. I actually have another little thing I want to do, because that was one issue. The dynamo is another one. By the way, I haven't published the next video on the dynamo for the simple reason that I'm testing it. Still testing it. I'm testing the field coil resistance. Seems to be 6 ohms. I'm testing the dynamo resistance. I'm testing all of them to earth and everything. all the tests are showing up perfect results. So why this stopped working, I have an idea, due to the heat. If you watch the other video on it there, you know, this years of having the 2 narrow fan belt, slipping in there, heated that up, and of course the long drive then just crowned it. Heat went down the armature into the commutator, probably did a bit of damage in there. But the bearings aren't bad, the bushing isn't bad, all the tests are good. So I'm not going to give up on this yet, but worst case scenario is to be kept for parts, and I'll get another one and I'll be able to use all the parts, because I did put in new brushes and all that. But that's going to be another video. I'll try and get back to that, just showing my few tests. I took screenshots of the Lucas Workshop manual on the C40 dynamo, and I'll try and put them into the video as well, so people can well, they mightn't be able to read them because they're small print, but at least they'll know that they are available online. Bit of a Google search, and if they're of the same dynamo themselves, they'll be able to find all the testing procedures, because that dynamo is fitted to Minis, Morris Minors, I think Series 1 Land Rovers, tractors of every kind, Fords and Fergusons included, and David Browns probably, all of that. So that's that done. The other issue I had was when I came back from the agricultural show, this was literally about to fall out, and I know I put a lock nut behind that, but I also stupidly put a big thick spring washer as well, and sure, you don't need both. And the problem with the thick spring washer was it stopped the threads of the bolt going through the end of the lock nut where there's a nylon ring, and that's what locks it. So it just was like a normal nut, and it just shimmied its way loose and fell off somewhere along the road. So I have another one on, and I think I have to take off that spring washer and put a normal washer on to allow enough threads through the lock nut, let it do its job. I think that's another job. So I can put the work light on the ground, we'll get underneath the bonnet, we'll close it down, and we'll get a look up from underneath, and we'll see what we have to do. It shouldn't involve taking out the bolt anyway, I wouldn't think. Bio there, and you'll see the threads just haven't come through it. So nice also here to see that the radiator is nice and dry under here. These drain plugs can be a little bit of a nuisance at times trying to seal them if they're full of rust or anything, but this is a new radiator. I think we're fairly dry there, I think. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, have to take off that spring washer. We're a little bit tight with space with this here, so I think I have to take out the bolt really out this way here, and put a normal washer on that, and hopefully that'll be enough to get that thread through that nylock, I think it's called there. So I'm going to try and position the completely blinded by this work lamp here. How will I try? I'll try and position it on top of something here. I might just be able to get it at the right angle so you're able to see what's going on. So, something like that, maybe. No. I'm going to try and focus it first. So where's my part? I'll tap the screen. Apologies for all the mess here. Hopefully that will keep it in focus. Bring the work light in. I think we are 24. Yeah, 24. And I think open end is the only option here. Okay. Definitely does feel like it's got a good grip on it. That lock, spring washer definitely probably is doing its trick. There we go. Okay, so right, so we're off, and we need to take him off, and we need to get it. He's a big thick spring washer, and we need to replace him with something a little bit smaller. So we'll bring up our better nut. At least I'm blinded with that work light. We'll come over to our box of Deluxe Extravaganza washers, and we'll try and find one then. I think I have a spare bolt here, that's the same thickness, and we'll try and find a thinner washer that'll do the trick. Thin as possible, next size up I'd say. There we go, that's a nice one. It's just nice and wide, and I might just do the trick. It's through doing these little tests that you find these issues. Okay, so there we go, here's our bio. So we'll put our washer on, and hopefully this will get it better. I do want to put a washer on. I don't want to just run the nut right in against the bonnet frame there. Hopefully that'll stay in. Got rippling going on there. I hope that wasn't going on in the last bit of the video. Okay. So hopefully that's staying in focus. I'm running in by hand a little bit. Okay, it feels like it's gone onto the lock. Now, how's that looking? Is it a little bit better? Yeah, we're just starting to catch the lock there, I think. An eye lock on it. It's something I'll be able to keep an eye on anyway. A little bit tight for space. That's not original. The original style is actually one of them bolts with a dome head in it, I think. You'll probably just see it. It actually has a captive nut. But this tractor, when I got it, didn't have that on it. It's a pity. The old belly has both of the original ones. So, that's okay. I mean, I'm under here. I think it might be hard to try and tighten that. I'll definitely give that one a little touch of tightening there, I think. And we might as well, just to make sure that it's tight. I'm just having a quick look up there. I have my socket on. I'm just going to, just one hand, just give this a little nip. Make sure it's okay. I'm happy enough with that. This side here could be a little bit tighter, yeah. So what I might do is just try it. See if I can get in there with big up. So opening the spanner and just give a little feel. Yeah, so that could do the nip. Space is a little bit on the tight side. Yeah. Lovely. That's all we want to do. I must have hit something that, so I can touch that up. No harm checking all this out. And just when I'm over here as well, I'll look here and see rippling again on the light. And is that a bit leaky? It is, yeah. We'll give him a little bit of a nipping as well when we're at it. And how's our sump? It's looking good. Okay, so that's another thing we can do. It's no harm getting down this angle sometimes and looking upwards. Sound, so we'll give him a little nip. I think the Ferguson spanner fits him. There is that little bit there. It's going to keep the rust off him. Hopefully that'll stay in focus there. Can we see it? Putting it on top of a biscuit tin type of thing there now. Hopefully there's no rippling. So I've got a bit of enamel paint there. It's probably not going to be the perfect colour match, but it's really good for putting on without. There is a bit of primer on that. I find in the winter these are the areas there now that just get really rusty, like, so may as well just, no one's going to be looking down here, so just going to try and keep on top of this, this here, and keep the coats of paint going on. So there's a little bit of then what I'll do is I'll sand it down when I actually have the proper paint for this out one of the days. I'll just give it a quick sand and flat, and I'll just actually mask and tape all of this off, and I'll do a nice little job of it. But for now, just since I'm down here, just try and preserve what we have. That's all. I might even be doing a bit of painting on this 20 diesel that's due in, and if I think of it, I will mask and tape all along there, give it a bit of a sand.